the top most five most influential hip hop moments of 1984. Russell Simmons, Jewish Man, Rick Rubin. They came together to form Def Jam Records. He couldn't call that shit Zulu Records, or Rick couldn't call it Mazel Tov Records. They had to pick a uniform name that represented both of them. With the founding of Def Jam, the first artist on this label was this cat named T. La Rock with the single "It's Yours." Now I didn't even know that because most people would assume it would be Run DMC or L Cool J,
Right.
T. La Rock. And actually, I heard like they were trying to do a T. La Rock movie. This was around the time of that Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah. T. La Rock, lyrical king from the book.
He was the very first artist to come out and have the Def Jam, label print on their shit. Number two, Run DMC's debut and MTV breakthrough. They had joined Sucker MCs. It's like that. I don't remember Rockbox. They say it's the first rap video to air on MTV. I just remember Sucker MCs. Sucker MCs was just, them other songs that I just mentioned were probably out there popping, here and there. But just like even in this era, if one song is better than your other songs, like your B side is better than your A side, then that B side is going to become the A side. You know what I mean? So Sucker MCs
They
was
might
that.
have like released it to the label, to whatever companies, but yeah.
Because at least in this era, and I don't even know even if that shit was fully formulated yet, but I think by default it was because there's always been an underground component and then a commercial component. So they was probably trying to market Rock Box on a commercial level, but Sucker MCs was probably blown up so big on the underground level that it just, became a thing. But yeah, basically, Run DMC, as you see in the picture, these are the first rappers that are kind of out there that you see dressing like regular everyday people that ain't looking like they in Star Trek. No disrespect to the elders, the ancestors, but this is another reason why rap is now being, kind of looked at and classified as the new school. We done with that old shit. The rhymes are starting to get a little bit more intricate. The dress and the fashion is different, and we on this new wave. You had the Fresh Fest tour, which was like basically like the first national tour. The first tour was like in 1982 as far as rap tour, but they did like a concert in New York City, and then they went more in Europe, like London, France, and somewhere else. And that was super early, but it was like Curtis Blow and like whoever was like the nigga in 1982 and whatever 1981 that went on that tour. But this one was the first, East to West Coast full hip hop tour, and that headline Run DMC, Fat Boys, Houdini, and Curtis Blow, of course, who still at this time even of the transition from old school into the new school, Curtis Blow was still a mega star. He was like the first superstar of rap.
Curtis Blow would have been like in the game for a good like 5 years.
Yeah. And that's the other thing that kind of showed the record execs that okay, not only is this shit commercially or financially viable, because prior to the 80s, people just really kind of dropped singles. 79, you started to have people come with, I think, whole rap albums or whatever, but successful rap albums, Curtis Blow doing numbers. And Nucleus, we're gonna get to them in a second. Even though they were real, they mentioned in the 83 and 1984 because of what you touched on earlier. Some singles, just like even now, from a artist album could be so powerful that the life of that song can bleed over into the next year. You know what I'm saying? Number four, as far as key moments, hip hop was being pretty much just featured in more movies on the big screen, you know, breaking, um, and shit like that. I want to say, well, Flashdance was '83. That was the last video, but breaking, I think Beat Street 2, Electric Boogaloo, and probably a couple of other movies that I can't think of.
The Crush Group, was that out yet?
Crush Groove might have, or it might have came out the next year.
Okay.
And then the biggest thing, controversy, like how, like this was really like the first rap beef, the Roxanne Wars. So yeah, this group UTFO had a song called Roxanne, Roxanne. And the irony was it was a, you know, all guy group, but then they would just rap about some girl Roxanne, and then Roxanne Shantain, you know, pretty much the mother of Queensbridge rap, period. She did a response to their song, like, no, nigga, I'm the real Roxanne. And then like 1,000 other shorties tried to come out with their little records, but she was the clear winner of those battles. And she was only 14 years old, out rapping adults. Because half of the women she rapped against were like fully adults. Yeah, so she definitely set the trend in a couple of things. She's the first rapper, period. Fuck Mel Orphan. She's the first rapper out of Queensbridge Projects. She's the first rapper coming out this young, which the next young rapper to come out is Nas, who started rapping, I think, at like 12, 13, somewhere in there.
He references
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So.